So my name's Leanne McLaughlin and I live in Cork in Donegal. I'm originally from Derry, but I've been living here in Donegal for over 20 years now. My education background is fairly varied. I've studied music, traditional Irish music performance. I've also studied horticulture and welding and guitar building. I'm a big advocate for continuous learning, so I take what I learn a lot of the times and put it onto my artwork. So for this exhibition in particular, I've taken using my interest in science and nature and horticulture, and I've taken my music background, and I've incorporated it into the work. The seed for my idea for the show came about when I lost my father during COVID. I used a pattern every day that I went for a walk, and when I was doing this walk I noticed that each day the landscape had changed, and each day there had been a chaotic force that came on the wave and had changed the I suppose, canvas of the beach. And I suppose I related to this because each day when I was doing my walk, I was dealing with grief, which is, if anybody has experienced it, it feels like a form of chaos and can really come on top of you, and you feel overwhelmed. And yet after it comes a calm, the way that when I was walking on the beach during the day, I would see the calmness. So that was where I got the relationship between the human body and the seascape, and why I wanted to investigate self-similar forms within both. So fractals are forms, self-similar forms found in science and nature and in the human body. It's where forms come together. We do it ourselves. We come together and we develop patterns, repetitive patterns, and we're conditioned in this way to survive. And it's the same in any chaotic form. Self-similar forms come together to be able to survive. And this is throughout science and nature, throughout every kind of large system or body. This is how we adapt and deal. It's what makes human beings so successful in life. Our ability to reinvent ourselves, recreate ourselves, but our ability to develop new patterns. And that's where the fractals come on. It's the very first time that I've used paper in an exhibition or in my work completely. There's a few reasons why I use the paper. The first is I've been working as an artist now for maybe 15, 20 years, and I'm really conscious of the fact that I'm creating large scale installations, and they're not always that environmentally friendly. So I use the paper for that specific reason. But also when you're developing or creating patterns, there's a continuous state of folding. Even in the soundscapes that I use, the sound is continuously folding, and the paper resonates with that, where I've used the paper and folded it into forms, which it also keeps a memory. Which is really important, because although it's a continuous state and I'm mending or evolving, the memory is still there. I don't want to forget what was originally there, which was the starting point, which was grief. So that's why I've used the paper. Also, it's really easy to transport, which is something that I've learned over the years. It's a far simpler material to use. Initially, there are 3 large white forms behind me, and that, when I moved into the space, was one large wave that was 30 foot. It was supposed to come in a spiral, but whenever I came into the space, it was too large for this space, so I cut it into the 3 parts, which I feel works better. It also emphasizes the fracture, because you can see the broken space between the waves themselves. The installation itself incorporates music, sound and art. My interests from childhood is science, nature, art and music, and this is the first time that I've incorporated the 3 together. The reason being is because I suppose the initial seed and it being of grief and being of such a personal thing, a personal issue, it had to come from within, and some things that were really important to me. So it was also a challenge to incorporate them, for them all to kind of combine and do one unit. I could take the installation here and put it with the video installation and it still works. They all complement one another because they have elements that are self-similar within them. I spent an awful long time on the seashores looking at microscopic layers on the sand, looking at layers on the sea level and recording them. So that resonates with these. You can see the installations, you can see the folded forms within, but also within those folded forms, which I'm not sure if many people have noticed, there's small microscopic drawings. The drawings within that are drawings found, and they're images that are found in the human body and in nature, are within these installations, or the large folded pieces, but also the reflection on the actual glass itself reflects the waves behind me, and it does resonate with the film. The film has loads of different images. They have layers within them, layers that are found within the human body, like there's skin tissue, there's pupil of an eye, there is images of layers of small particles of sand on the surface of the water recorded. And on top of that, there's vocals. My voice is layered over it. So it's everything really within this is about folding. The sound folds, visual, the light folds, everything is folding. The blue, I wasn't aware of the blue through when I was doing it and why it was coming through, but it's fairly obvious now. The blue is the grief. But also when you think of the colour blue, it has a tranquil and soothing effect, and healing. It has you get a sensation of healing from it and calm. So perhaps that's why I was drawn initially to the sea, to that walk every day. You know, I think that you do things and develop patterns and you're not even aware that you're doing it until afterwards, when you take time to step back and have a look. So I think that the pattern of creating these smaller structures that are on the floor, I used to paint every morning when I was doing this, and then go about my daily business, and then at night time go and collect the paint and cut them up and fold them. So it's really funny how you can develop patterns that can almost condition you every day. When I put up the exhibition the week after it, when I sat down to get into my everyday routine, which I always try not to have everyday routines, I find myself thinking, I need to go and do my painting. I need to go, because these took about, I would say 5 months to make the smaller pieces. They're all hand painted and fold every day. So I had to get a new obsession, which isn't quite that, but it's getting there, yeah. Crazy woman.